everyone. This is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com, and welcome to episode 127. Today on PCS, we're reviewing the Netflix original science fiction movie, What Happened to Monday, starring Noomi Rapace, Willem Dafoe, and Glenn Close. We also have several top pop culture and news stories from the past week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and share it. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a positive review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. The podcast can also be found on the Spreaker app, YouTube, and virtually any podcast catcher of your choosing. Joining me is PCS co-host, fellow TV junkie, and indie author Lisa Orban. If you'd like to comment on something you hear during today's episode, you can leave a comment or you can find me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. You can also find Lisa on Twitter at Lisa Orban Author. If you'd like to email link feedback or questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@shelfaddiction.com or call in and leave an internet voice message on SpeakPipe. The link is below in the show notes. Hey Lisa, Sunday fun day. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Getting ready for Labor Day tomorrow.
Oh, I know, right? I can't believe it's September already. Just time is flying.
It really is. It just doesn't seem possible. Although the temperature dropping is helping me believe it a little bit.
I can see that. Yeah. Yep, totally. It definitely feels like fall today. So.
Although it technically is still spring, for a couple more weeks. Or, not spring, but summer for a couple more weeks.
I know. Like, when is the official first day of fall? Do you know it? Is it in September?
Yeah, but it's late September.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we got a ways then. Wah, wah. Well, what they call, for Michigan, this is kind of normal. If it starts to feel like this pretty quickly, and, the best thing we can hope for is that it stays feeling like this well into November, where it's like really, really cold in the morning at night, and then it gets kind of somewhat warm during the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we've got a lot to talk about today, so I guess we should just jump into it since we have a ton of news and gossip stories. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's dish, baby.
Let's dish. PCS presents the entertainment, news, and gossip you want to know.
All right, so we found several things to talk about before we get into our movie review. Let's start with one that's probably closer to, being near and dear to us than the others, and that's about Game of Thrones. Want to share with us what you found, Lisa?
Oh, sure. I stumbled across this article last night, and it turns out that George R.R. Martin had originally turned in a 3-page synopsis to his publisher about what Game of Thrones was going to be. And it was only supposed to be a 3-book series. And it's almost, the main characters that we know are there, but they are not anything like what we finally got when he started the books. One of the bigger ones that caught my attention was there was supposed to be a love triangle between Tyrion, Jon Snow, and Arya Stark.
See, and that just made me throw up a little bit in my mouth. I'm just saying.
I know, right?
How does that even work? God.
I guess in the synopsis that he gives is that Arya Stark did not disappear when there was the big coup, and like she did, and go to Barbados. Instead, she was trapped in the castle. And Tyrion became very close to both Sansa and to Arya. Now, he did eventually help sneak them out of the castle along with Catherine and go back to Winterfell. But then there was a whole big mess with it. One is Sansa ended up actually marrying Joffrey and having a son with him.
Ew.
I know. Which apparently she eventually, and then she ends up siding with the, what do you call it? The Lannisters instead of with the Starks. And then George made the comment that she will eventually be rue the moment that she made that choice between the two families, and she was actively working against her own family. Tyrion ends up burning Winterfell to the ground, and Jon Snow ends up going. He does actually go to the Wall, but after the burning of the castle, when Caitlin and she brings Bran and Arya with her to escape from the devastation. He can't help her, so they send him out into the north, and she gets help from the King of the North. From beyond the wall. I mean, there's just these big differences, and Jaime Lannister ends up like killing everyone in succession in front of him so that he can sit on the Iron Throne.
Jaime on the Iron Throne? Oh my gosh. She's not even a thought for the Iron Throne in this series.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of these little tiny differences. So if you guys want to look the article up, it's actually all you have to do is just put in George R.R. Martin's original plot, and it'll come up. You can find it on Reddit, and you can find it in several other places. Uproxx, I believe, has it as well. And but I really enjoyed reading the differences, and I'm glad he didn't go with them because a lot of them are going, oh, are you kidding me? The other one is like Dany's did not fall in love with Khal Drogo. Instead, when he killed her brother, she vowed revenge against him and ended up killing him.
So she was upset that he killed her brother? Ugh.
Yes. And killed him and then escaped into the wilderness and apparently stumbled across one dragon egg and had some big magical ceremony, brought it back to life, so she only had the one dragon. And then she went back and challenged the new leader of the Dothraki, and then she became leader of the Dothraki. So there's a lot of these little minor differences that are going on throughout the entire series of what he had originally envisioned. So I just thought it was kind of interesting considering, we just wrapped up the last season, and we're all waiting to see what's going to happen and stuff. Now he does say that there's going to be 5 characters that will make it to the end, and that's Jon Snow, Bran, Tyrion, Dany's, and Arya. Everyone else, and apparently he's sticking to that, at least as of right now. So we can expect that some of our favorite characters are going to make it. It's very different than what we've actually gotten.
I would have loved for this to have been a outline of his last couple books. That would have been a real spoiler alert. Like, wow, I would have loved to see that. But of course, he's not so, he's more cautious nowadays. He would never do something like that now. Yeah,
and like I said, this is the very beginning. He had written, I think he said the first 18 chapters, and then I guess he did a massive rewrite. But this is what he turned into his publicist when he first came up with the idea for the series. So it's not this big, epic, multi-book. It was only supposed to be 3 books, and there's a lot of different stuff going on in it. So I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Guys, check out that article if you like. It's definitely some interesting reading. So let's talk. Okay, so this past week, you guys, the VMAs were last weekend, and I didn't watch the VMAs. I knew they were going on, but I didn't watch. And apparently, a bunch of people didn't watch.
Or didn't care.
Or didn't care. I mean, honestly, I remember the VMAs being a big deal. Like when I was in high school, everyone would be like, oh, did you watch the VMAs? And even in college, I kind of remember people whooping and hollering about VMAs, but not in the recent history. Not so much.
No. Well, I mean, back, way back, MTV used to be about music. Now it's about, I don't even know what MTV is supposed to be. It's got some programming. But there's very little music on MTV anymore. Yeah. And they're not getting the celebrity draw, to their award ceremonies anymore like they used to. So, it's kind of getting to be a smaller venue, I guess. So if they want to uptake this, they're going to have to do something because MTV is really no longer associated with the best in music or videos or any of those things anymore. It's more some weird thing going on.
So check this out. So, okay, obviously Upworks, I believe that's what it's called. They're saying this is the lowest ratings they've ever had. And they're citing back 15 years, 11.9 million people watched. This year, last year, 6 million people watched, or maybe that was this year, it was 6, and last year it was 9. So it's a steady decline. And then they made the dumbest decision of all. and that is to have that on the same night as the Game of Thrones that we just got finished talking about, their season finale, the same night.
Yeah, one of the most anticipated,
right.
finales, all year, and they want to take their VMA awards up against it. How could they think they're going to win?
They won't. It's stupid. Yeah. I'm like, wow, somebody was not paying attention when they scheduled that awards ceremony.
No, they were not.
No. But, MTV, it's just not, like you said, it's just not what it used to be. And now it's like kind of, when I think of MTV now, it's just a cluster of unwed mothers and people fighting because they don't agree on anything because they, like Real World. I used to like Real World, but now it's just a cluster. I mean, they take these drastically different people and then they just like have them in situations where they can just run amok and show their, what's on TV. And it's just crazy. So I just think of it as like trash TV, all it is. So it's like, well, it
really is. I mean, not to sound terrible, but it's like the best of white trash TV. The trailers, trailer parks, had their own, TV station, it would be MTV at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just, between all the quote unquote reality TV and then, I don't know. It's not about music anymore. It's not about, showcasing bands. It's not about concerts. If you want to watch concerts, you have to go to different channels now. Because you're not going to find them on MTV, which is supposed to be, it's in the, MTV, music, television. And it's not about music anymore. So I don't even know why they even do the VMAs at this point, since they're not even about music.
They need to just stop. Like, I think they're just holding on to it from like back in their early days. Just let it go. Like no one considers you an authority when it comes to music anymore. So
no,
let that go.
I mean, unless they change their programming up and start actually showcasing more bands and the music and go back to their roots, that could bring back, some excitement about the VMA, but on their current, status as they've got, MTV is not about music anymore. It's about trash TV.
Yeah. Which is, so, well, sorry, MTV. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, like I didn't realize that number one, that it was doing that bad. But then I guess I'm like, well, it hasn't been on my radar for a long time. Except for, you hear the drama, sometimes you'll hear some musical artists going at each other, talking mess about each other. That's about all I hear.
Was it the VMAs a couple years ago that had Madonna kissing some woman? Was that the VMAs?
I think it was. I think she was kissing Britney Spears or something. Wasn't that like it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yes. That's the kind of controversy they got going on. It's not about the music anymore. It's about drama. And I don't know. Just embrace who you become and go with it, MTV, if this is what you want to be, but stop trying to be something you're not one night a year.
Ditto.
So.
All right, cool. So I think we have another story that we actually just wrapped up talking about, the Defenders a couple weeks ago. So we found one about Luke Cage. Did you get a chance to take a peek at that one?
Oh, yeah. In this one, it features Misty Knight, and she has her bionic arm now. In the comics, she gets it from Stark Industries, but I will assume in this series she's going to get it from some conglomerate of Danny Rand, since he's the one that said, I have this hospital. So, I'm sure they'll tie that all in instead of going to the Stark Industries. But yeah, that's her bionic arm has been a big iconic thing of, who Misty, is.
Right.
So
that's why when I saw this photo, I was very disappointed. I'm like, it's not silver. It's not really cool looking. It's kind of like they phoned it in.
Silver highlights.
I don't know.
Some silver highlights.
I guess.
Bit,
I don't know.
But, I mean, in the comics, it's supposed to do a whole bunch of neat stuff. It's supposed to be like super, super strong and be able to, shoot projectiles and a couple other things. But I don't. It's hard to say what they're going to do with it. They may do something similar to it. They may actually take it in total. It's hard to say. So we'll have to.
Well,
wait.
what could happen? What could happen is like this could be like the first iteration of her arm. Like, how you get the arm, you're doing okay, and then maybe something happens, and then Stark Industries steps in and helps her and upgrades her arm. You know how he likes to do.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Loves upgrades.
Maybe. Yeah, for sure.
So when you're talking about Stark and upgrades, all I could think of was a Spider-Man Homecoming when they gave him the spider suit. I'm going,
oh, I know.
What are they doing? He was never supposed to have that. Anyway, so the talking Spidey suit. I just don't know how I feel about it. But anyway, Stark loves to upgrade.
He does, and I think that's going to be cool when we see that version of it. I'm not satisfied with what I'm seeing in this picture. That's not going to be the final arm we're going to get in that season, I don't think. So it premieres in Luke Cage's second season. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
And they have given the go ahead, and we also have the go ahead for Jessica Jones and the third season of Daredevil, and of course, what is it? What's it? Not the Defender, but you know who I'm talking about. The shooting up guy. The Punisher.
Iron Fist? Oh, the Punisher. Okay.
No, Punisher. Yeah, he's coming out here pretty soon. The shoot 'em up guy.
Shoot 'em up guy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the Punisher will be good. I think it's going to have like zero cheese factor. If anything, it's going to be so brooding. It might be, let's just hope the brooding isn't unbearable. I mean, it's going to be so polar opposite.
Yeah, it's got to be better than Iron Fist.
Oh, girl, it doesn't take much to be better than Iron Fist. I can act better than Iron Fist, okay? I'm just saying.
I can forever dog on him. I swear to God, I can't. I just like him so much. Okay, all right. Next story.
Yeah.
The next one is about CBS and slamming Big Brother over a rape joke, which, oh my God, can you believe this?
I cannot believe this. I'm like, who says that? Who does that and thinks like no one will talk bad about you? Like, really?
Well, and I know part of what this is. I mean, it's these reality shows trying to get ratings, trying to grab attention, trying to be as shocking as possible. They are just descending as rapidly as they can to the bottom. In their quest for ratings. And this guy, he got attention. Possibly not what they wanted, but everyone's talking about it now.
Oh,
so, in a certain extent, they got what they wanted.
Well, Big Brother has been around for a long time, but I've only watched one season, and that was years and years ago. So this has not been something that I would normally watch, but, maybe they needed the ratings boost, and this is what did it. But I mean, for him to, I don't know. So if you guys don't know, this past Monday, one of the contestants, I guess two of the contestants were laughing, and one of them joked about him raping another contestant's wife and forcing the kids to watch. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, and they're laughing about it. I'm thinking,
yeah.
No. And this is part of the reason I hate reality TV, because one, it's not reality. It is putting people in these really awkward, unlikely scenarios and then beefing up the drama between them as much as humanly possible. And and of course, they want rivalries. They want people backstabbing each other. They want the little tiffs and the fights, because those all bring in, unfortunately, that brings in ratings. And there was an incident that, and again, I don't watch the show, but I guess there was an incident earlier in the season where, someone, grabbed the butt of another contestant and she had a fit, which I don't blame her for, but again, there was no repercussions for this action. And, it's just, this thing has just snowballed. And it is playing to the lowest common denominator at this point. And I can't stand it, man. They're just ruining TV with these shows.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we expect some cattiness, right? Everyone likes the drama.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they watch it. But there are lines to be drawn. I blame CBS. Like, for example, we're going to just go shift back to real world for a minute. Like, yes, they let them argue. Well, at least back in the day, right? I can't speak for today's shows, but back in the day, they let them argue and bicker. But guess what? You lay your hands on someone, you're gone. You throw vile threats like that, you're gone. Like, there is a line. And it's like Big Brother, CBS, whatever. They just have lost control of the people that they brought on that show. And it's whatever. Do what you want.
Oh, yeah. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't know. I mean, whenever it comes to reality TV, I hold my nose and turn away because I can't stand them. I just can't stand it. I have watched one reality TV show and I yelled at the TV for the entire season and never watched again. Okay, and it was called The Colony. And that's it. And I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I'm never doing this again. Not ever.
Yeah. Well, you know what's bad about this to me? And to my knowledge, CBS did not comment on this. At least they hadn't.
They have not.
They haven't. And so, I mean, that guy should be gone. You should just lose out. You're done. You're done. Good day, sir. Goodbye. But they haven't. So that's shame on them. Shame on them.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, speaking of shame on them.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. We all know about the hurricane that has hit Houston and the devastation and, all the great people that have done some amazing things, sending boats down and rescuing people, and Mexico has come up to help, and so everyone's pitching in. And then we have Joel
Osteen. Oh, God.
Okay. The pastor of the mega church. Okay. That used to be, what was it? I can't remember the basketball team, but it's a huge stadium. You can hold 17,000 people.
Yeah. You see him on TV every Sunday.
Oh, I can't open it.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Oh, until he got shamed by the internet. And then finally he's like, oh, we're working on coordinating now. This man has made millions off of these people.
Did you see that interview he did? Oh my God, girl. Okay. So I'm like, he got no help from someone that knows about having interviews and knows how to do damage control, because he was just digging himself deeper, in my opinion. It was horrible.
He was.
I'm like, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, okay.
Well, and he had excuses like, well, Houston didn't ask me to help.
Exactly.
Dude, you run a church. You're a pastor. You are supposed to help those in need. You don't need someone to ask you. You should have just said, hey, we're open. Come on in. I mean, they knew that Hurricane Harvey was hitting. He should have been making preparations prior to.
Yeah.
And, and if they did get flooded, then, they could have made arrangements to move stuff out of harm's way, but he should have been prepared as anybody else. More so, considering the millions of dollars he has taken in, for the people of Houston and worldwide even. And for him to go, nobody asked me to help. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And, as a result of this, not only are, everyone is dumbstruck that this guy would have the audacity to kind of lie just to not open his church. But then everyone started making memes. Oh my gosh, these memes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you? Oh.
I've seen them, man. My favorite one was, it says, no one, when he made it was a Twitter one, it says, no one asked me to help. And then someone put a tweet below it, says, I believe Jesus asked you about 2,000 years ago.
Right. Right.
So what was yours?
Oh, well, there's this one, he has his eyes closed and he's praying, right? And it says, Lord, I will open the church for $50 a head. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dreadful. Hashtag losing.
Yeah. Was it? Just remember, this was done more as a tax shelter than a hurricane shelter.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been bad. And then there are some people jumping to his defense, but for the most part, I mean, there was no excuse for this. He knew. I mean, he's a church. I mean, every other, especially like a lot of the smaller churches that were out of the main path, they opened up. All of the Islamic centers in the area opened their doors to anyone who needed help. Little tiny small churches that, usually see like 20 people in there going, hey, our doors are open, please come in. A mattress store opened all 3 of their stores and let people, immediately in and said, hey, here we are. And here's this guy with his mega church making millions of dollars a year going, nobody asked me to help.
Yeah, he could have fit a lot of people in his church. Even temporarily, right? Just so people had someplace to go until, the Red Cross or whatever, just something. But he did nothing.
There were 3 Mexican bakers that got stuck in their bakery, and they decided to just make lots and lots of loaves of bread and other pastry stuff. And then as soon as they were rescued, they loaded up all the bread and took them to the Red Cross emergency centers to distribute. They were trapped in a bakery.
Yeah.
And didn't need anyone to ask them to help.
Yeah. Well, that to me, that says a lot about him. And I don't know. I don't want to get too, about it, but dang, dude, like really, that says a lot about you. And I hope that people that give money to your church are paying attention.
Remember
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing. It's about being a decent human being versus someone who's running a scam. And this right here tells me he's running a scam, because someone who was really committed to church and to the tenets of their religion of help thy neighbor would have helped thy neighbor without being asked. So
I know, and the little stupid photos he presented showing that his place was flooded, those were the freaking parking garage, the lower decks of the parking garage. Who wants that? Nobody. No one wants to be in the parking garage.
And all the upper parking garages were fine, and the main part of the church were fine. Yeah. And a whole bunch of people showed up at his venue there, his church, and took pictures and said, I don't see any flooding. There's no damage
Busted.
here. Yeah. So, stupid man.
I know. You know what? He would be the person that, if it was The Walking Dead, he would have been that pastor that locked people out the church. Oh,
yeah. He would have. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of The Walking Dead.
Yes, that was my segue into the next story. Did you like that?
I did.
All right, cool. So apparently, because every once in a while, I will download a game to my phone. I'm not like a gamer, quote unquote. I don't, I just go through phases while I'll download games here and there. But The Walking Dead is releasing a game for Android and iOS, I believe, and it's called The Walking Dead Our World. And they are comparing it to what's
Pokemon.
that other game? Pokemon that everyone's playing, because it's you can fight zombies wherever you are, which is really cool, I think.
Yeah, it's using that real world augmentation. So if you're standing on the street corner waiting for your bus, you can pull this up and, fight zombies while waiting. Or, if you're standing in line, and you can, I would hope that you're not running around, like they were showing in the video for it. You're jumping behind the counters and stuff, because that's going to get you in trouble. But yeah, you can, as you're walking through your real world, you can, hold your phone up or your tablet or whatever and, play this game. So it should be, I don't know. I'm sure Corey will download it because, he's got Pokemon on his phone. So, I might check it out.
I did not go for the whole Pokemon thing. I did not download it. I did not try it. But because I love The Walking Dead, I'll download it. I'll take a look. I'll see what's it looking like, I don't know if I'll be addicted to it or anything, but because, like I said, I go through phases. So,
Yeah. And they did say that, the main characters, Daryl and, all of them will be showing up periodically to be on your team to help you out. And so I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how they do it and how it'll work. So, I'll probably, like I said, I'm sure Corey will download it. So I'll check it out and see what it is.
Yeah. The sad thing is they didn't post a release date yet, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be in October as it gets closer to the release of the new season.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be sometime around there. Just because, October's their month.
Mm-hmm. All
You know.
things Walking Dead, yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you get pumpkin spice and Walking Dead. That's October now.
Yes. Yes. Actually, I'm going to make my own pumpkin spice latte because the Starbucks ones aren't that good anymore. So I'm going to make my own. I'm getting excited for it.
I'm not a big pumpkin spice person. I like my apple cider.
Ooh, yum. That's good too.
I'm an apple cider person.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't discriminate against fall drinks. Apple cider, hot chocolate, pumpkin spice lattes. I'm all about all of it. Give them all to me. All of it.
I do, especially like the warm ones. A lot of times in the winter, I'll get my crock pot and get like apple juice and then put in the cinnamon and stuff like that, and some orange slices, and let it warm up all day. And so have that
so good.
drink in the evening. It is.
That's
so
awesome.
I do. I'm not. I'm not a big winter person, but I do enjoy the fall and a lot of the other things that go with it. So
Mm-hmm. Yes, fall time. That's when you know fall is officially here, quote unquote, because The Walking Dead comes on and all those things. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? If you start looking in the stores right now, you will see all the fall decor is out right now. All of it. Everywhere.
I know. I don't like it.
Oh, see, I get excited when I see it. I'm like, yay, fall.
Well, it's just, because the thing of it is they run it so far in advance that by the time that Halloween, the week before Halloween, it's no longer about Halloween. Now we've got Thanksgiving stuff out. And then before Thanksgiving is even here, then it's all about Christmas. And I'm like, no, just let me have my Halloween and Thanksgiving, you stay in November. And hey, Christmas, you don't get anything until the day after Thanksgiving. Just stay out. But,
no, you see Christmas crap the whole month of November.
I know, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I just hate it. Let each holiday have its time. Let them have that. But no, we can't do that.
No.
We've got to, it drives me crazy. It's kind of like when summer comes along, they're already out of their fall, clothing season. I'm looking for a swimsuit at the beginning of summer, and they're going, would you like a sweater? No, I want a swimsuit.
No, I want a sweater.
Well, you should have gotten that in December. I'm like, I was fat in December. Now I'm skinny. Give me my swimsuit.
Look, if you want to order a swimsuit at that point in time, you're going to have to order from Amazon because it's not in the store. That's all I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying, man. When it's summertime, I want a swimsuit. I don't want to buy it in December when after, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas has come along, and I'm like, I've gained like 20 pounds. No,
oh, God.
I want it in the summertime after I've gotten rid of all that weight.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I didn't list this story, but I did want to mention Amazon real fast. Since this past week, Whole Foods is now acquired by Amazon. So Did you hear all the buzz about certain staples at Whole Foods dropping in prices this past week?
I've heard a little. I didn't actually read the stories, but I have heard that Amazon has basically said we can drop our prices as low as we want because we don't need to make a profit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they work on a different, they don't think about profit in the same way. They're very different with their business. And, this is a testament of that. I am a Prime member and I always order crap off of Amazon. It's a problem. But I'm telling you, I will order 3 things and I will get 3 boxes. Now, let me tell you what's in the boxes. Like, for example, I got a delivery yesterday and what was in the box? Okay, so I had a pair of wireless headphones that the box of the headphones was like a 2x2 inch square. The box it came in was like a foot by foot. They had put this small thing in this huge box, and they do that with everything. No, they have no sense of how much stuff costs. Why would you want to not save on shipping, right? Why would you want to ship this huge? Well, so my past, I've worked in manufacturing, and UPS, a lot of people may or may not know that they go by dimensional weight. So what the box is 2 pounds, but if you have a foot by a foot size box, it's going to cost more to ship than a 2-inch box, right? So why would you throw this small teeny headphones in this huge box. But that's how Amazon ships everything. So they have they don't care about cost at all. They're like, whatever, let's throw money out.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, it might be with the 2x2 inch boxes because they don't want to, if you're not there to take delivery, if they set it on your doorstep, you might just never see that box.
I know. I mean, that's like an extreme, right? But they have 4-inch boxes and 5-inch boxes. You don't need to have a huge, I'm telling you, girl, this same box, I have put 4 hardcover books in that I'm mailing out. The same box.
All right. I believe you. I don't buy. I'm not an Amazon Prime member, and I kind of want. I've been kind of thinking about it, but I don't know. I don't know how much use I have, and we don't have a Whole Foods here where I live, so that aspect of it, isn't going to affect me, and I don't know. So I buy things randomly, but not enough to justify becoming a Prime member. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do, and that's not a bad thing because I've definitely bought way more stuff than I ever would have had I not had 2-day free shipping. So,
I could get it here tomorrow. I could get it here in 2 days and not have to pay anything. Woo, go me! I mean, about the only time I really use it is around Christmas time. I because I don't like going shopping to begin with, and then when you get a whole bunch of really anxious people going, "Oh my God!" and I've got my list, and they're wandering aimlessly with this look of frantic, hysteria on their faces. I'm just like, I'm going to go online and shop. It's just easier. Yeah. So, and I know that around Christmas time, almost everyone offers free shipping for certain windows, and I'll just go there then, so I don't have to pay extra for the Prime membership and stuff. But yeah, I'm not a big online shopper, partly because I like to be able to feel things. I want to touch it before I buy it. Yeah.
I understand. There's a few of you left like that. There's a few.
Yeah. And I don't and I don't buy a lot of stuff. So, I have a house full of stuff. I don't need any more stuff. I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I don't need an excuse to buy more stuff to get rid of more stuff.
Oh, I know. Girl, don't get me going on that. I have this rule where if I buy something, I'm throwing something out. I am not a pack rat. I'm the opposite of a pack rat. But, because of that, it keeps me, honest about, I'm not going to have 30 pairs of headphones, right? I'm not going to because I'm getting rid of something. So it's a good philosophy to have just, for those of you that don't have that philosophy and have a house full of stuff. And I actually know a couple people like that. It's like, okay. Do you really need 12 things of toilet paper? No.
Yes. In my house, yes. I have 12 people in my house. I need 12 rolls of toilet paper, okay?
No, not rolls, packs. I've seen people do this. How you buy a 12-pack, but they buy 12 of the 12-pack.
Okay. I could kind of see it in my house. But no, girl, sometimes I'm going to send you a picture of just my bedroom, okay? And I'm going to watch your eyes get you have never seen anything because I am a pack rat, but I'm a very neat and meticulous pack rat. Yes.
Oh,
but
how did I not know this?
I don't say things like newspapers or stuff like that. I actually keep things that mean something to me. But there's no point in having any of these things if you can't display these things. So my house is nothing but shelves. I have remodeled my entire house based on the fact that I am a pack rat. All right. So I have hundreds of shelves lining my walls.
Wow.
Of all these things that I have kept. I mean, I have the wine glass that I got from going to the solar eclipse. I have a bottle of tequila that I bought down in Mexico that I enjoyed very much. I have a bird that I stole from my brother's wedding. All right. I took it off the table decorations. All right. I have, when we were remodeling or when we were redoing my backyard, when we were tilling up the yard, I found an old Coke bottle from 1910. All right. This really thick, 1-inch thick glass. It's sitting on my shelf. Why? I also found a doorknob in the backyard, and it's sitting on a shelf too.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I have. Yeah.
Is that a monster to dust? Does it really hard to dust?
Well, you see, here's the thing. I'm also allergic to dust, so I don't dust very often. What I do is I will hire a company to come in and spend a day dusting my house twice a year, and then I leave until they're done, because otherwise I'll be in misery for like a week with my allergies.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta wait till everything settles, then come back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everything, so for a while, everything looks nice and pretty, and then it starts to get this kind of like this. There is this mild dust bunny invasion in my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I am at shot glasses and artwork that I've gotten from other countries, and their memorabilia from all of my travels, and I travel a lot. So yeah, I have all these just weird things everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
My dad once called my room, it looks like a Myrtle Beach trinket shop.
Oh, wow. But I bet that's kind of cool to see. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because it's not, it's not commercial stuff. I mean, some of it is commercial stuff, but a lot of it is it's a lot of crafts and stuff that I have bought from local artists, and, things that have meaning to me. There's a reason. If it's in my room and it's on a shelf, there is a reason for it to be there. There's a story behind everything. And because I have OCD, they have that thing of, if something is taken from this shelf and you can't, don't know what it is, oh yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
People in my house, because they know I have OCD, they will go through my house occasionally and like switch things around just to mess with my mind. And I'm stalking around going, I know you did this. I know it was one of you. They're all giggling at me. I'm like, I'm going to put it back.
Oh, no.
So I know where everything is. I mean, literally thousands of objects, and I know where every single one of them is.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. All righty. Well,
I don't need Amazon. I don't need Amazon.
You don't need Amazon. You do not need Amazon. No.
I do not. It would be a nightmare.
Yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so let's I guess our main event today is we're going to talk about What Happened to Monday, which is a Netflix original movie. We're going to review this movie today. So, did you like the movie, Lisa?
I liked it, but there were plot holes in it that I'm yelling at people. Really? Mm-hmm. So I did enjoy it. It wasn't a terrible movie. But there were some big glaring plot holes in it that I did not like.
So this was the biggest plot hole to me. And you could tell me if you thought of this one. I'm like, okay, it is 7 grown women living in one apartment, but everything is supposed to be so regulated. How do you get food for 7 people? How do you...
I know.
How do 7 people eat and all stay healthy, and 7 periods and 7, how do you get away with that? And there's only supposed to be one woman in that house. How do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, and they had been in there for like forever, since birth. The guy, their grandfather, or their grandfather had designed this whole thing, with the bookshelves, with the beds inside. Oh, we should probably tell people the premise of the story.
Yeah, let's tell you guys the plot. We won't give any plot. We'll try not to. Well, I don't know. We can't promise spoilers either. But we'll try. We'll try not to totally spoil it for you. But I'll give a little quick recap. So What Happened to Monday consists of, it's like in a post-apocalyptic situation, like dystopian kind of feeling where, all of the resources are really horrible from overpopulation and there's famine, and the government has decided to take a drastic one-child policy. So there are 7 identical sisters named Monday through Sunday, and they all live in this house, and they only go out one day a week based on what their name is. So,
well, and the other part of it is because of the giant dust bowl thing that has gone throughout, they have genetically modified plants so that they overproduce everything. But because of the genetic modifications that has gotten into the human, system, and instead of having single births, almost everyone now has multiple births. Yep. So, you're not just, so they fix the problem on one side, but then cause this bigger problem on the other side, which is, even though they're making more food, they're now making way more human beings than that were being produced
Yeah.
before.
Right.
And so then they're telling people that they're going to take one of the children and they're going to be putting them in basically stasis, and they're going to cryogenically freeze them to be revived when the earth is okay
Better.
again.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'm going, there's no way.
No.
There's no way. I mean, the resources that would be involved with keeping millions of children,
yes,
millions of children in a pod would be as excessive as actually feeding and keeping them alive and caring for them because of, how much time, money, and effort would be put into it. But that's what they're telling people. And I just, now see me, I'm watching this and I'm going, okay, even now in our technology, we have the ability to do what they call selective reduction in embryos.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as any woman got pregnant, why wouldn't they just go in and have it done then when it's still just a couple of cells instead of waiting and they're taking these children either at birth or sometime, between birth and 7 years. So once they're an established human being, then it suddenly becomes really real to people instead of doing the selective reduction, which I don't understand why they just didn't do that.
Well, it's because when they I think they intend to take them when they're born, right? They take the extra kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you have twins or triplets or more, they take the extras, they leave the firstborn. And some people, though, they're smart enough, they're hiding the kids, just like these 7. So like there was one scene where this kid is being yanked away from, her in the street. It was horrible. And I'm like, well, obviously they were trying to hide a kid, so they had like police and like a whole bureau of people that like seek out families that are hiding children and to, take them off to be quote unquote frozen or whatever, I say that with air quotes.
Well, and again, I just don't, to me, it would make more sense to say, okay, we're not going to wait until the child is born to do this. Yeah. We're going to do selective reduction while it's still just a couple of embryos. And at that point, because they're not actually real. And there's still going to be a child. And you're not, if you're carrying, 7 kids, oh my God, the risk to the mother alone of having multiple births, having one child is risky. Having 2 children, increases the risk double. But when you start getting up into multiple births like that, the medical support that a woman would need to carry that many to term is astronomical. And again, it's a waste of resources because the mother has to eat not just for herself, but to sustain this many babies
7 babies. Like in this case, 7 babies.
Right. To only have to, give up 6 of them, which is just, psychologically, it's self-defeating from the very beginning, which again, if you had the mandatory, reduction while they were, like a month along or so, it's not as psychologically traumatic, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think it would be easier to, to sustain. And you could even tell the parents at that point, because it's so much easier to freeze an egg than a human being. They could freeze an egg right now. So they could actually just freeze those embryos and, for a later time, which would actually be more cost effective.
Well, now that you mention that, it didn't make sense to me that in the beginning they showed, these babies were born in a hospital. It's not even like they were hiding, right? They weren't like in the wilderness trying to have these babies in secret. It was like in a institution. And then the guy asked him, so what are you going to do about this? How do you plan on keeping this a secret? And I'm like, but how can you? You're in a hospital. That doesn't even make sense. So I guess they're just saying, there are people in the hospital willing to cover up these multiple births and help people? I guess.
Yeah.
And
like I said, so it was defeat from the very beginning because there were many other ways that they could have dealt with this particular situation. I love my cheesy movies and I love my post-apocalyptic movies. I do. I have watched some terrible, not even B movies, but like D movies on this, but it just, and I did enjoy it while I was watching it, but at the same time, my mind is going, no, there's so many plot holes, and I don't know. I didn't find it compelling enough, to give it a decent rating. And, and I've given some bad movies some good ratings because I enjoyed just the fun of it.
Right.
But I didn't in this one. I'd probably give it about maybe 3 stars. It was an interesting premise. The acting was good.
Did you buy Noomi Rapace, I think her name is? Did you buy her as 7 different women? Did you think she did a good job separating herself and making 7 distinct characters?
I think she did a pretty good job. Not as good as they did on Orphan Black, but I did think it was believable enough that you could see it. Because you would also think as in the close confines that they were all being raised together as much as they were individuals. There would be a lot more merging just because of their forced confinement, and the fact that because part of the thing is he named them for the days of the week. So each day on the day of their name. So Monday could go out on Mondays and Friday could go out on Friday and so on and so forth. Yeah. But there was a sharing of information. So everything that one did, they had to tell everyone else so that they were aware of what the situation was.
Well, in my opinion, I was not surprised by any of the plot twist. For example, I knew, like when they said, okay, so the catalyst that started this movie is that Monday did not come home one day. So, of course, they start they go out on their day trying to figure out what happened to Monday. So the day before Monday disappears, or that morning, she's like vomiting in the toilet. I'm like, oh no, I know what that means. Yeah. There's no surprise. Okay. And I guess it could be a plot twist, but it wasn't to me. I knew it. And the guard, I'm like, that made total sense to me. No surprise there. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I can't say that this movie was terrible. I can't say that it's not worth watching. It's not a bad movie. It's just not, there are some terrible plot holes in it, and just be aware of that going into it, Yeah. If you can honestly overlook the plot holes, it's not a terrible movie.
But even the plot holes aside, I just hate where supposed plot twists are supposed to be so surprising and they're not. Like, and maybe that's just because I watch a lot of TV or read a lot of books that it's hard for me to be surprised anymore, which is a true statement. It's hard for me to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But to me, they were like blaring. So I don't know. Even the plot twists were weak at best.
Right. Well, and for me, because I spend a lot of my time when I watch TV, I'm like, all right, this is going to happen. Ooh, I can see this one. Oh, he's going to betray them all. And Corey's just looking over at me going, shut up. You're ruining it. I'm like, I just want to see if I'm right. And I get enough, not all of them, because we know on the show that I have not always been right, but I get enough of them. And I spend a lot of my time just trying to figure out what the twists that are coming up are. And so I don't know. I can't tell people that they never should watch this. There's, because there are some movies that I would say never ever watch it. It's watchable.
No, it is watchable. I agree with you. It's not a throwaway for nothing, but to me, it's more better movies to watch. So for me, my advice would be, okay, I agree with you, like the 3 out of 5. I would give it a solid 3 out of 5, but there are other movies that are better. But let's say you've seen everything you want to see, you're chilling on the weekend and you don't have anything to watch. This would be a good movie to put on.
Yeah. If you're bored, you have nothing else better to do with your life, it's better than staring at your ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's better than watching MTV. So, there's that.
Yes, it is. Yeah. If we're going to, stacked up against, say, Big Brother, this is definitely the better of the two.
Yep.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. And I am a little disappointed because Netflix has really been hitting it out of the ballpark with a lot of their stuff. But no one can bat a perfect 1,000. So I'll forgive them because again, it wasn't Battle of Skyark bad, which by the way is the worst movie I've ever watched ever. Ever. It was such a train wreck. It was terrible. The only reason I watched it was because I wanted to see exactly how bad it would get. Okay?
Wow.
Worst sci-fi movie ever made, Battle for Skylark. So this is like, I compare all sci-fi movies against that movie now. How bad it is.
I will pass on that.
I will tell you this, if you watch that movie, you now have a baseline for the worst sci-fi movie ever made. You know, it's kind of like the morbid fascination you have with a train wreck. You want to look away, but you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was the entire movie was a train wreck.
Wow. Well,
anyway.
You guys, rest assured, this is not that train wreck. It's a good movie. It's a decent movie. It's not a strong movie. It's a decent, watchable movie. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally watchable.
You know, if you like post-apocalyptic, if you like, you know, premises like this, you know, it's not a terrible movie, and it's a good Sunday rainy afternoon movie. Is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, that was fun. Maybe we should sprinkle in some more Netflix movies here and there. I definitely watch them. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We definitely should.
Cool. Well, if you guys have seen What Happened to Monday, let us know if you liked it. And if not, let us know if you plan on watching it. Or if you have Netflix and you have a movie you're curious about and you really, really want our opinion before you watch it, make a suggestion. We might just watch it for you. We might just do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You know, we'll review for you.
Yeah. Now, we won't promise just because you've mentioned it that we'll do it, but we promise we'll look at it and we'll consider it. We promise that.
Okay. Yeah, because there are some movies out there I just look at them and go, nope.
No, I can't. Right.
I can't. I just can't do it. I can't force myself to turn the TV on. But, you know, we do have a latitude of movies that we will watch. So, you know, who knows? We're
very flexible in our viewing habits. If you've been tuning into us for any amount of time, you know we have a very broad range of things that we will watch. So give it a try. We might just watch it.
That's right. We will.
All right. So I think we are done for the day. Everyone have a wonderful Labor Day. Enjoy your day off. Don't drink too much. Don't drink and drive.
Barbecue.
You know how. Yeah. Have a barbecue. Yeah. Be safe. You know, the popos are out there. Be careful.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Oh, God, I had a drive last night, and it was terrible. Oh, God, I was just like, oh, my God, go home, people. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Labor Day weekend. Ah!
Yeah. Yep.
So, anyway, all righty. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will. Take care, guys. If you are enjoying Pop Culture Sunday and would like to show your support, there are a few things that you can do. First, you can head on over to iTunes and give a positive 5-star review. You can follow both myself and Lisa on Twitter. You can follow the Shelf Addiction podcast here on Spreaker, the only place where you can listen live and get broadcast notifications so that you never miss an episode. Most importantly, you can share the podcast with friends and family that enjoy pop culture as much as you do. Thank you for listening. We will see you here on Pop Culture Sunday next week. Until next time, happy viewing.